Hey everyone, Eutimia Muse Medicina here. It's come to my attention that in this day and age, it is very easy for women to not receive the proper postpartum care, and I kind of wanted to give a breakdown of why that's necessary. So if you imagine a soldier going into battle and being on a battlefield and battling, using all of his might, all of his willpower for 5 hours, 10 hours, maybe 20 hours, would you expect him to come back from that and then, get up and cook for you? Probably not, right? A woman in birth is very similar to a human in battle. And this is exhibited by, I'm also making sure that my 10, 11-month-old doesn't hurt himself. He's mobile. Whoa, watch out. In the Mexica tradition, the tradition of the Aztecs, who were a great empire, a woman who died in childbirth was honored as a man who died in battle. The feeling around it is the same. Women are warriors who literally traverse dimensions and realms to bring a spirit back with them, to bring a whole human back. Some battles are harder than others, right? So some women might battle for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Some women are in there for 30 plus hours, okay? During pregnancy, our body is required to between double and triple our blood volume in order to house this new human. When we give birth, all of this blood, much of this blood is lost in the birthing process. I know personally, probably about half of my blood volume left my body when I gave birth. And I was always extremely athletic human, really strong legs. I promise you, my legs got at least 75% or 50% smaller. Sorry, not 75%. If they were at 100, they were at 75, between 75 and 50 after I gave birth. So I was also not able to eat for over a day. And I was working my hardest. There's a reason why they call it labor. So there is this thing, and this is honored across the globe, across indigenous America, and also I know in different African cultures and in Persian cultures in Morocco, and also in antiquity in Europe. The cuarentena, or the 40-day postpartum period, which is a time where women literally do nothing. Your village was supposed to cook for you and be present with you. I know that in the Anishinaabe tradition, because I'm taking a wonderful class with this beautiful Anishinaabe indigenous woman. If you're on Instagram, follow her at Medicine Waters Doula. I think she's also here on Facebook. Raeanne, Rayanne Madison is her name. She teaches a postpartum class, indigenous postpartum. They had special lodges. This is also true in Mexica tradition at Temazcali, specifically for the postpartum period, where a woman and her new baby do not leave this lodge that keeps them warm and protected for 40 days. Now, not only from a metaphysical standpoint are they open and the baby just came from the realm and there's the mollera or the fontanelle, the soft spot that's open, that is super penetrable. So it's not a coincidence that the CDC includes newborns as the most susceptible to immunocompromises in their physiology, because they are open. And so is the mother. The mother, literally, her whole body opens. Literally, the vagina that's supposed to be closed opens to release this baby. And chances are they lost a lot of blood, so their strength is limited, so their resources are limited, so they're super vulnerable to external pathogen invasions, to the different energies of people. If there's some weird spiritual stuff going on, etc. So it is necessary for our families, especially our partners, to honor where we're at in our convalescent period. And that is why, according to indigenous tradition, all over the world, not just in Native America, we are supposed to rest postpartum, and the cuarentena is 40 days etymologically, but also can be translated as quarantine. And that's not because you're a danger to the world. It's the reverse, that the world is a danger to you and your newborn baby. All of the different microbes in the air, all of the weird foods going around, all of people's energies, right, on a baby. And physiologically, a woman and a baby can literally catch cold. And that's not just catch a cold like our, you get sniffles or whatever. If your matriz, your womb, is open, if your body is open, a pathogenic cold can enter and cause what we would call frialdad de matriz, or coldness in the womb. In Chinese medicine, it's called stasis, blood stasis in the womb, or cold in the womb. And the symptoms of that can look like hard to reproduce again, can literally feel like there's cold, horrible cramping. There can be prolapse in the organs. There could be my grandmother told us a story of one of her cousins who died of a cold womb. This could be like infections going into the womb and causing death, okay? The postpartum period is sacred. The postpartum period of rest is necessary for a woman who is battle weary to rest up so she can face the world again with her newborn baby. The postpartum period is necessary for mother and newborn to bond so that you have well-adjusted humans that when they come of age, they can show up full and not scared and not anxious and not full of cortisol from exposing them to sirens and bright lights and loud people who don't care about you. There is a reason why our ancestors honored a cuarentena, or a postpartum period. And nowadays, there are more and more people who are bringing back these practices. When the medical industrial complex in the 20s took over birth practices, they really pretty much stole modern day midwifery from granny black midwives and indigenous people, and then lack of a better word, bastardized them and just used what worked, but left all of the like spirit protection and nourishment afterwards. So what you get then is a medical industrial complex that is able to diagnose things like hysteria and to disenfranchise women from their bodies by saying there's something wrong with them. But what's wrong with them is they're blood deficient, they're nutrient deficient, their bodies never close, they are vulnerable to invasive energies and invasive pathogens, both in the spiritual and the physical realm. Of course, they're not going to be sane or sane coming from sanar, right? Which means to heal in Spanish. So sanity is really the ability to heal, which was stolen from women when they call it it's a T. The twilight era of birthing took over. So in America, there's this bounce back, snap back culture, which completely dishonors our ability to fully heal our bodies. And a lot of our women will feel that. And because the patriarchy took over, the entirety of the culture is not honoring of new mothers. Okay, so your very husband might be like, nah, it's cool. It's not cool. Part of frialdad de matriz, which I'm learning from Marianne Madison right now, which makes so much sense, is not being treated well after you give birth. It's like the energy of coldness, okay? It's the spirit of coldness, of ice. It's like... right? As opposed to the warmth of a fire that you sit around and experience joy together. The energy of warmth around your home hearth is what is going to heal you postpartum. My son agrees. So I hope this was helpful. There are some really great resources to follow for all of you new mamas who are feeling this call to really care for yourselves and care for others, so as to protect yourself from frialdad, from invasive energies postpartum, and for the care of your child. So there's a book called The First 40 Days. It's a Chinese medicine book, and it's all about the first 40 days. Again, this is also Chinese tradition. They call it the sitting month. In Mexico, they call it the cuarentena. My dear sister and teacher, a beautiful human who has an unbroken lineage from Mexico, her Instagram handle is Indige Mama, and that's on Facebook too, Indige Mama Ancestral Healing. She teaches 9-month online classes on Mexican traditional medicine postpartum practices, including the postpartum ceremony and the cerrada that uses a rebozo or a shawl to literally close the bones postpartum after the 40 days of healing, where your womb shrinks back and your nutrition is given to you. There's herbal protocols, there's bathing protocols, there's sitz bath protocols, there's massage protocols. It is intense to have a baby, and we are birthing generations, and we deserve our healing. We are entitled to our healing. Yeah, my son says yeah. So check that out. I'm taking another postpartum class right now with Rayanne Madison, Medicine Waters doula. There's also Maite the womb doula, Mayte, the womb doula, on on Instagram, and a few others. Sumi's Touch. She's another one to follow on Instagram. And if you guys have any more that you know, please look them up. And really honor your sisters, okay? Honor your sisters, honor the mothers, because the mothers birth the generations. And if we're not well, the world isn't well, all right? So I hope this is helpful. Somebody put on their homies. I love that notion. I've thought postpartum had far more to do with the life conditions surrounding birth than some clinical aspects. It's both is the thing. Like, we need proper nutrition, which in Chinese medicine we call building the blood, right? Because you lose so much blood, you have to build the blood. It makes sense. It's not some woo-woo, far-off spiritual thing, but it is too, right? Because the spiritual and the physical cannot be separated. And the man, the status quo, the cis hetero white supremacist patriarchy has specifically tried to separate the spirit and the body, which is why so many people their cancer just comes back, because they're not dealing with the spiritual aspects. And things do have a spirit. When your husband comes home mad and is stomping his feet around, he might not be cussing you out, but are you feeling it? Yes. And you're feeling it times a million if you're broken wide open in the spiritual and the physical realm after just giving birth. Okay? Oh, my baby daddy. Thank you. Speaking of which, my baby daddy, he's the best thing that ever happened and honored the fuck out of me postpartum. He's the best postpartum nurse ever, and birthing doula ever. I love you, Ryan Fu. So there's so much that we need to offer postpartum mothers, and it is no longer, it's not a choice. It is a choice because the society has all of our priorities wrong, but if we really want healthy women in our society who are nurturing and honoring the little humans, the tiny ancestors coming through, we need proper postpartum care. And that looks like home-cooked meals, bone broth, nutrient-dense foods. It looks like being warm. It looks like wearing socks. It looks like staying home and staying away from people who don't make you feel comfortable. And if you are a new mother and it is hard for you, I want to let you know that I might not know you personally, but I am holding it the fuck down for you. And if this is the only person in your life that gives you permission to say no, remember me. Okay, and you say no, because no is a complete sentence, and you deserve your well-being. You deserve your ceremony. You deserve your healing. You deserve your healing, sister. So if there's nobody else in your life because of colonization, because of society, because of patriarchy who honors your no, remember you can still say no and do it. And if you need to hit me up on my DMs right now, you can, okay? You are entitled to your healing in your postpartum period. yeah, so share this around. I, again, highly, good one, son. I highly recommend Panketsani at Indije Mama, Maite the Womb Doula, Medicine Waters Doula, Sumi's Touch. And there's a growing number, Ori Doula, ORI, a growing number of people returning to these indigenous medicine ways that are saving our society from destruction. Okay, Mahito's calling me. Many blessings and all the power to your healing in your postpartum period. Ometeo.